So this video is actually brought to you today by Organic Fuel, who just so coincidentally came just in time for me to finish my training workout. The UPS delivery man knocked on my door as I was finishing my last few sets, which you guys will see in just a second, but let's go ahead and see what's in the box. All right, so what they shipped me was 2 different containers of their organic fuel. We have a chocolate flavor and a vanilla flavor as well. Like I said, the big thing behind them is that they're organic, so that means no GMOs or anything like that. Plus, per bottle here, you get 26 grams of protein, which is pretty impressive. They also have a big campaign. I've seen them on a couple other channels. It's called Save the Bros. It's a video series. You'll find that linked in the description below, as well as a coupon to get some money off if you want to order some of this. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot as I just finished training, and you guys will get to see that right now. All right, so here we are back in my basement. It's starting to get a little bit comfortable between you, me, and this basement. Something about the cement walls and lack of any escape routes really does it for me. But anyways, looking at the program, and this is my official first week on the program. You've seen my first 2 days of it. Again, it's a 3 times per week training split. The third day actually calls for block pulls, and I actually ran kind of a scaled back version of this program for the previous 5 weeks. However, I never did block pulls. I did some deficit pulls, so I wasn't really expecting block pulls, so it surprised me only because I wasn't used to it, and I don't actually have blocks here in the basement. So that's one of the downsides of having a home gym. Going with this setup, I don't have everything that I need to, and it's not until I need it that I realize, like, oh shit, I need this. So luckily enough, I remembered a video from Nick Wright, young Nicholas, who's also a fellow Rhode Islander, who made some blocks for his own gym. So what I went and I did is I kind of followed that template that he set out, and I remembered because it's a fairly easy build, at least it sounds like it, so we'll find out. So I have all the pieces here to make some blocks for deadlifting. I got some 4x4s, although after measuring these, they are not 4x4, it's like 3 3/4 inches, but I had them cut them into 2-foot lengths. So I got 2 of those. So that's going to be the base for each block. I then also just got some cheaper board here, cut out to around the same specs. Now again, because I went with a cheap route here and even the cheap route here, these aren't going to line up perfectly, but I don't care. But to give you guys a rough idea, there's the base. That'll be the top, which is going to be a little bit bigger. So there's going to be a little bit of an overhang on the lips, which is going to be fine because that's going to make it easier to pick up and whatnot. Didn't decide to put handles on these. Then what I'll do is I have some of this, it's very similar to the horse stall mat that I have over here. However, it's not as thick, and if I flip it over, you'll see that's actually meant to be like a weather mat for outside. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this side up or this side, but I'll put that then on top. I will have to cut it, but it's enough to make 2, so to give you a rough idea. Obviously, it's not going to be hanging out that much. And then we have these other pieces here that'll go on the edges as bumpers, so you can kind of get an idea, and that way you have a little bit of room for the bar to move around, but it won't fall off on either end. So I'm going to go ahead and get building these. Overall, the cost for supplies was right around $40. I'm sure, depending on where you shop and what equipment you get, that price is going to vary up or down about $10, so anywhere from probably $30 to $50. But it's a lot cheaper than buying some of the nice professionally made ones that I found online. And again, given the time constraints that I only have a day to do this, I think this is going to work out all right. At least we'll find out, so let's get to building. All right, so there you go. It is done. It took me roughly about 20 minutes, and it would have taken me a lot less time. If you're going to do this, my big suggestion is make sure you pre-drill the hole. So make sure you pre-drill. Otherwise, it's a pain in the ass making sure these screws stay. Now, again, this isn't perfect. I don't really care. Again, it was like a $40 solution. It took 20 minutes to make, so it's not pretty, but it will be pretty effective. So there we have the blocks. In time, if I need to, I could throw handles on, but again, because they have lips on them, it's still pretty easy to lift up. So there we go. Those are the blocks. Let's see. They end up being roughly about, let's see what they do. So just about, let's say 4.5 inches, because you're probably going to get some compression there with the rubber. But those will be fine for me. And if I need to add on to these in the future, I can probably do that, no problem. But those are some really quick at-home blocks. So there you go. All right, so it's Thursday night, and the Beyonce, or Amanda, as I know her, and hopefully you guys don't know her, is working late, which means need to fend for myself. Now, typically, I like to make my own food. I don't eat out a ton like other people do. That's just personal preference. I feel like I get more for my money, so I like to actually cook quite often. But that being said, it's time to have a little fun. When the Beyonce's away, the Brandons will play. Not with himself. Well, maybe. But, so, what I got here is just some food. So I went and got some pizza because pizza is one of my favorite food groups. And also, I know you cheeky cunts are admiring my pumpkins. You got the big boys. I don't know what happened to this little guy. And some little ones as well, but some pizza. So at this place I went to, Kingston Pizza, it's a local place here in Rhode Island. If you get an extra large pizza, they'll give you a free small pizza. Cheese, what do you want for free? But what I decided to get is a barbecue chicken pizza. I don't know if that looks appetizing or not to you, but it's very good. I love barbecue chicken pizza. I like buffalo chicken pizza. Put anything on a pizza and I will pretty much eat it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and that's a pretty big pizza to eat by myself. There's my hand, the hand test. Get that grease up there. Maybe if I'm playing with myself later, then that would come in handy. And then of course I got a Coke Zero. Share with an alum. Anyways, got this, obviously the Zero, which has 0 calories because I'm trying to watch my weight. But I'm gonna go ahead and attack this little guy on this little sad night to myself. Got to work off putting those blocks together. All right, so 6.5 minutes later, we're finally into the training footage itself. Started off with high bar back squats today. Called for 4 working sets of 325 for 6 reps each, with that last and 4th set being an AMRAP. So I wanted to show you the first clip in the entirety and to give you a side-by-side comparison of my depth, which I think is pretty on point, all things considered. And that's been one of the surprising parts of the program, is the fact that despite we've upped the frequency to 3 times a week with squatting and the volume as well with all those AMRAPs, these have probably felt and looked as good as they have in a really long time. So really pleased with that progress. Next, we're gonna jump into the other working sets here. Again, I've done a total of 4. But to save for time on this case, I don't want to show you every clip in its entirety because there's nothing too much. In the future, I might show you some of the more impressive sets, but right now, again, just really working on building up that volume. Now, this last set that you're going to see right here, although you're only seeing 2 reps, this is actually my 11th and 12th from my AMRAP, so you can see a little bit in my face. Surprisingly, my legs have felt really strong during this. As you can see, the bar moves pretty fast, but it's just a matter of conditioning my breathing and my cardiovascular skills. We then moved on to some close grip bench press, 5 working sets in this case with 225 for 6 reps each, with again that last set being an AMRAP, and in this case I believe I got 14 reps. So very happy with that as well. That'll make my numbers bump up nicely for next week. Then doing some block pulls. So you saw in the beginning of the video, we actually made these blocks. Now it's time to put them to use. 390 for 3 total working sets, again of 6, with the last one, of course, surprise, surprise, being an AMRAP. I think I ended up getting 12 at this point, which was pretty good for me considering I was feeling it from both the squats and the bench beforehand. You can see here I am wearing straps on my last set, and that's just because I don't want my hands to necessarily fail, but grip strength has never been a problem. So just some quick clips of the accessory work, wide grip bench press, some bent over rows as well. You'll see some skull crushers. The assistance work really doesn't change too much, but the weight on it will increase each week, or at least that's my goal here, doing sets of 10, finally ending it off with some dips. So that's going to wrap up the video. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.